Let's start with the June 3 disaster. He's not been able to get an erection since the last 3 years, and urinating is a difficult activity for him. He dresses it every day. And that's the condition that Solomon has been left with since he was caught up in a June 3 flood and fire disaster in 2015. Let me bring back memories of what happened on that fateful day. So this happened in June 3 years ago. It was a twin disaster, flood and fire. So there was flooding and then there was fire. Those who were caught up in this disaster had no choice. It's either you're in the fire or you're in the flood. At the end of the day, a lot of people died, hundreds of them died. I'll be sharing with you some of the stories of the victims who say government has yet to pay them the compensations because of what they suffered. While Solomon had closed from work, he used the Kwame Nkrumah circle on his way home as he usually did. One day wasn't going to be a normal day for Solomon and hundreds of people who were at the Kwame Nkrumah circle. Fire from the explosion at the Goil filling station swept across large areas, killing at least 150 people. Many more were injured. Solomon was then hospitalized for almost a year. He lost his shoe business and that he had toiled to set up. Today, he survives on the benevolence of friends and family. A fund set up by government to take care of the medical and economic empowerment needs is yet to reach people like Solomon. Now, he is not the only one. About 300 others are in the same situation. We have a response from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly for you shortly. But first, here are some of the victims. Listen to a lawyer for the victims who has been speaking about the compensations due them.
That well-educated people in government running the affairs of the state, is it the case that they have stolen compensation and donated monies belonging to these poor victims? Is it the case that those in government affairs, those that we have put them there, those that we queue at night, at dawn, the ordinary people queued to vote for them, to give them jobs as president, MPs and all that, is it the case that they have stolen their monies and compensation monies, the monies belonging to these poor people? Is it the case? Conclusion is that the Goil filling station and the responsible authorities, including the Ghana government, must weigh on one hand the public interest of protecting lives of the ordinary Ghanaian, on the other hand, the public interest in saving lives and properties. We are therefore appealing to the directors of Goil Company Limited and the Ghana government to meet the victims to agree on a reasonable amount of compensation for each victim, for both the survivors and the family members of the deceased victims. Failure to arrange a meeting shall leave us with no option than to resort to the law court to claim huge sums of damages and compensation. We are not going to chase anybody. They must arrange. The word is arrange, because even after this press conference, I am going to battle how I'm going to pay them transportation to go back home. They do not have money. They need money for their medical expenses. Some cannot even afford not even a meal a day. So we are not going to chase them. Their group has leaders and they have a legal representation. So the responsible authorities, headed by the government of Ghana and the Goil Company, must arrange. They can use the media to arrange us. And we don't want an indoor meeting. We want a public meeting where we are going with the media. We are also hoping that our 30 questions or so will all be answered, and those found culpable should be dealt with in accordance with law. The stolen money should be returned to these poor, miserable victims, and criminal sanctions must be leveled against those found guilty. Lawyer Merahino, I rest my case. I take a breather and I rest my case for now. And then we humbly beg the media to carry our questions, our grievances. The people are miserable. In fact, the essence of human rights is to put myself in their shoes. They don't even have a voice. They don't even have strength. They have lost everything. So the only thing is that the media should help us carry these questions. If within the shortest possible time, the leaders can be met and then we can organize, we can even take transportation from the government of Ghana and organize all of them so that the compensation money can be given to them directly. They need some money as soon as possible.
So that is Mary Ohenua Afo. Mary Ohenua Afo is representing the victims of the June 3 disaster, saying that they have not been paid the compensation that were promised them, etc. Some of them are living with the loss of that day 3 years on. Well, I have some of them in the studio to tell their own story. In the studio with me is Solomon Oto Srebo. Solomon, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Also here with me is Martha Hassan. Martha, you're welcome. Thank you. So I'm going to have you both tell your stories. Solomon, we've told a little bit of your story already. Martha, what is your story?
It's unfortunately, I'm a student. I school at Asasewa Senior High School.
Okay.
So that fateful day, I was asked to come home for meeting. So I decided to come to spend the holidays with my parents. The moment I got to Circle, I said everywhere is flooded and I was not able to further to my destination. So I decided to stay beside the filling station. So immediately the rain stopped, I will go home. But still, the rain is not stopping. I have no any options than just to stay there. And the moment everywhere is flooded, I don't even know what's going on. And I started saying like the petrol is leaking and stuff.
You saw the petrol leaking?
Yes.
Okay. From where?
From the state petroleum station.
Okay.
So, and my body was itching me. So I was feeling uncomfortable.
At that time, were you standing in the water?
In the water.
Okay. So then you started itching?
Yes.
Okay.
So I started to leave where I'm standing, but I can't. So I have no option than to stand there. Not like someone was saying, so where we are standing now, anything at all can happen. So why are we standing here? Not more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And we started hearing people shouting, there is fire outbreak, everybody should run for his life. So I started to run. I was running and I slipped. So I fell into the water. So there was fire
on top of the water. So you were running,
yes.
You fell into the water,
yes.
On top of the water was fire. What did you do then?
I have no option. I have to force. So I decided to sink into the water. I hold my nose and sink into the water. I don't know where I found myself. All I just know is I was walking towards Ridge Hospital, and I got there. I met this old lady. I was telling her like I had an accident, and she's like, they don't have anything to do for me. I have to go to different hospitals.
And at this time, I'm seeing the burns on your face. At this time, what happened to your face? What happened? Why did it get burned? Did you bring out your face from the water? Was that what happened?
Immediately I fell into the water. I had the burns on my face.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to sink into the water.
Okay. So then you got to the Ridge Hospital.
And I met this lady.
Was she a nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
She told me the emergency is not working and they can't do anything about it. So I have to go to a different hospital. I walked from 37 to...
From Ridge to 37?
From Ridge to 37. It's, let me say, 20 minutes to Ridge. Then I met this man and he asked me, where am I going by this time? So I told him this is what happened and said I should sit in the car. So the man took me to the hospital and he told the nurses that he's coming back. They should look after me very well.
So at this time you were walking, what was happening to your face? Your face was burning,
yes,
but you didn't know exactly what was happening. Were you able to touch your face at the time?
Yes.
When you touched it,
my skin starts moving.
Was peeling off.
Yes.
So you went to 37, and this man gives you to the nurse and says to take care of you, and then he left.
Yes.
The next day, what happened?
He didn't come out. Ever since then, I've not seen the man.
Wow. So that is your story. I'll come back to whether or not what happened, the steps that government took at the time, because we knew that government was giving money to some people. Solomon, what is your story?
I would like to speak.
You want to speak to? Go ahead.
Number 3, a man in a African nation and never circle Faka Kofi. Madame Tidakman. Me too, circle names only a topa, and I'm saying I'm in the station. A tia, number my Fumuko, Marco Faka. It's in Mijanosa and so on. A bar more, it's not at the dam. Go to to me, J. Soon, Casne, net in Sunia, Seco, Casne of filling station. Jenny in now be a good enough filling station. Said in soon, but near inside on it. Joanne soon drew me waist, Mississippi. I'm ready. I did.
So let me tell you about the story so far. In the meantime, let me remind you, Solomon, I'll come back to you. We have a Gilbert Ankara on the line. Gilbert speaks for the AMA. Gilbert, I'd like to acknowledge that you've joined us so that I'll let Solomon finish his story. Thank you very much for your time, Gilbert. Okay, so just to acknowledge that Gilbert is on the line for us, but the story that Solomon is saying basically is like what Martha said. He's going home from work, he gets to Circle, it's raining, he decides to wait at the filling station. At some point it's raining, the rain gets to his knee, he waits, and Solomon here is a very tall person. He's way taller than me. So the rain comes all the way to his knees. He waits for a while, the rain rises, the water level rises to his waist level, and that's where the story is really. Solomon Twaso.
So the bus, Nafi petrol no ashase eliku soon. Into Ujana in Sunuma, na obodine inside and soon, Nash show. And he not almost so no more packet a change car, engine oil, and dirty oil, and also what drones with this one to Bassa. And so no, if I need na petrol ni diesel no, I'm missing soon and dirty wire no, and so one soon any. And take it now, sana, and so no, we just say, oh, chana, and so now the net chonko, net trickers ni baby. Tinipano, we just we are so and say, ya not team need to be connected. Take it now, I said a better. To who Muswana or scan, the way inside the show. And take it now, sana. Fire a jan be to finish station. I'm the man who may be free, and no say a jana be tumgo. The year I say, Hono, I must see. The year said the Dumino, and I feel their womb. Fate may I say, may you call him. I feel me that by Biam and Fabia, Honla, red a jano. Then I also by Bia, and to me, I say, me got it. To me, to me, really saying, me pierce and I'm
okay.
To me, pierce and I'm need a jano, as I be shared. Me not out of so near my room top on Tinaka, my body not bag about me. And to me, pierce and no one need Janis so me. And they so Musea, Janis so mana, and now that you are in a one, not to say I want
because oil no what was skin so. Say Janet best so skin you want.
Not Chiwana, I shouldn't soon.
Wow. So he's basically saying that, continuing the story, he says that, so he's standing there, the water is around, the water level has risen up onto his waist. They decide to, move around because they couldn't just stand there. So they hold each other's hands to form some sort of stronghold, but the waves were so strong that they took some of them away. So he decides to swim because he knows how to swim. And once he fell into the water, then the fire came up. And because the oil or the fuel was on the top of the water, it has stuck to their skin and made the fire very easy, made it very, very easy for the fire to then burn. right when it gets into contact with the skin. Okay, so I acknowledge once again that we have Gilbert Ankra, who speaks for the AMA on the line. Gilbert, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll come to you momentarily, shortly, but let me allow Solomon to finish the story. Solomon, and to tone so him now Jerry and so no a Jana started to say a show and then it's here.
Tama me told me me pee in Jana Shaman. Na can my ben a quam, met my free and soon. And to me feel just in my band to me ban and I'm got talk a quan and to me a lot of quan to me talk for more na and Janet assume with me Madana than more local one. Maybe, tall maybe one also or yeah, no, but some as I say, or some son, not I said, now Ben into that, or so I know a rare. No, no, you so car, no, or the Metran canyon. To what they call Rich Hospital, no, you do not say, Rich for say a light of tea. Doctor said, no, and find Uncle Baby at the record. To a year, no, Sadia far, or Sadim far, 37. Test some kind of one man will be able to addiction also against him. So I will test them.
Okay. Okay. So that is Solomon's story. Solomon here, we understand, has not had an erection for the past 3 years. Solomon, is that true? Yes, say Sebi what problem or Bema because of the accident. Is that correct?
And I'm Ben, I said, Mr. Stretching Musaya, number body, I am not major, so I'm Ben Musaya, number full.
Okay. We'll talk about the compensations due people like Solomon and Martha. Mind you, they're not just the two of them. These are just people whose story we're hearing now. But there are several people with several other gruesome stories to tell. Mr. Ankra, it's good that you joined us this afternoon, and we really appreciate your time. What does the AMA know as far as paying compensations? Right. What does the AMA know as far as paying compensations to the victims of the June 3 flood and fire disaster?
Thanks once again for the opportunity. As we put in the assembly, is aware of their grievances. They came to meet the mayor, and the mayor is putting in measures to ensure that we deal with whatever concerns that they have. But it's also important to put on record that during the incident, some compensation were some of them, as they claim, and for us at the assembly, we have records showing who and who received those compensations. However, one of their concerns relates to the fact that the compensation money that was given out to them, they used some of those monies to service their health care needs, and those are some of the issues we are looking at to ensure that we deal with the issue holistically.
Okay, so I have here in the studio one of them. His story is basically, we're told that he's not had an erection for the past 3 years. He has difficulty urinating, and I see him shaking his head at some of the things that you set out. Just going to find out from him why he's shaking his head.
Time near that hospital. Satam, me call from the blade, but I made them call that 7 manto, a dubia, a drone, a drone with the bunny free, a next for safe fabric, never a son dressing in Yanya until biddy 3 days for a national as Mary. By orders now, because hospital in the more than the Kia Muta Epi Iska. Before Sana government about 37, I'm not say, or fat be beer hooker. And the chance and a year between 1 year, yes, I shall government or circle. And I'll catch it say, foreign countries since in the Abba by we are after a year free hospital or me escaping one after that hospital. That's how they call treatment. And no one says government they will carry so what for be a hooker.
Okay, I Sabia Hosikana Muchia, you know. And only compensation I was at the mamono.
Government says cannot work
because government by 37 no John Mahama or government over 37
when a big edin come on.
Okay. And okay, so more for Bibia Hoka. And today now said the PRO no AM PRO no can no cry.
Was a conversation says can I call AM on and only Sano de Pia hospital can compensation.
But say different.
A different.
Okay. Okay, so Solomon here is saying that there's some sort of discrepancies in the stories, because what you're saying is not necessarily what actually happened. That they were assured by government at this time. We're talking about the NDC administration led by John Mahama, who visited them at the hospital, that they were going to take care of their health bill plus compensation. Ms. Ankara.
I beg to differ. Solomon knows me very well. The last time they came to the assembly to meet the mayor, Solomon himself took off his shirt and he was of the view that nothing at all was given to him personally. But thankfully, we have records here at the assembly showing clearly, we have videos showing some of the victims receiving the cash prize. And
does it include Solomon? So yes, you have Solomon on video collecting the money.
That is exactly what I'm telling you. It includes Solomon. And you can send your guys to come over to my office now, and I will get you footages of Solomon receiving the money. What I wanted to put on record is that during the incident, what the government did was to take care of their medical bill, aside giving them the compensation. So all those who were injured, government took care of their medical bills, aside giving them the compensation. But their issue that they are raising is that the medical bills that was taken care of were not enough. So they had to use their compensation money to service some of their medical needs. And that is what we are looking at to ensure that we deal with the issue. So if he is there and then says that what I am saying is
that's not the truth.
Not true.
Okay, let me put this to him. Let me put this to him.
The assembly is putting in measures to ensure that we deal with them. The mayor has met them personally, and that is the commitment to ensure that we deal with the issue.
Okay, Mr. Ankara, just a quick one. Ono chese sikana ede mamono. Mumu say compensation after buying chia mo health bills no we mo hospital bills no we no yes I mo compensation sa compensation ni mu sika no mo sign the chia hospital bill no and no na mo pese mo je efi abai ho no na no kra mo hwe aya ma mo
sa sika na ye je no eno ne after hospital na the treatment we say sa sika ya o kan ya o de ma ye
but o say AMA the other AMA ano no woni mo hia aka kire mo say sika na mo pese mo je ka ho no o mo hwe ho se maka o mo ni mo hia
last week
o mo ni mo hia. Okay, so Ms. Ankara, he does admit that he's met with you and that you're sorting that bit of the issue out. I have another lady here. Her name is Martha Hassan. I don't know if you know her as well.
For Martha, I am not sure that she was part of the delegation who came to the assembly some weeks ago. But what happened was that the mayor himself brought out documents of all of them, mentioned names, so there were a couple of them who were not part. But we are looking at dealing with the issue holistically. So all of them who have consent, and they came with a leader. So we are liaising with their leader. The mayor has arranged another meeting with them to look at the issue and ensure that even on that very day, there was one person who their leader claimed was in the hospital somewhere. We tried calling him. The mayor wanted to go there and then visit that victim himself. We called the number severally. We couldn't get him. But let me put it on record once again that the assembly is putting in measures to ensure that we compensate them. Whatever issues that they have, the mayor is looking at it. Don't forget, this issue happened some time back. Some monies were made out. So we have to follow due process to ensure that we deal with the issue. And we sympathize with them. We really sympathize with them. It's not really.
And I totally understand you. You have to follow the process to make sure that people as well are not abusing the system. But flip the coin to the other side and you realize that these are human lives we're dealing with here. The people who have lost everything. First of all, there is a psychological bit of it, living with it itself. So these compensations that you give them is something to basically just help them deal with the pain of loss. So can you put to this process a certain timeline so that at least if we're sending Martha here, I'm sure has had some sort of relief hearing you say that she wasn't a part of that, and that she, of course, is entitled to compensation. So she's going to walk right to your office. Can you put a timeline to this within which she can come, she and the others can come and get their money?
I can tell you on authority that after the meeting with them, a lot of consultations have been made, and very soon, in the coming weeks, 1 or 2, we will call them back to ensure that whatever needs to be done for them to get their lives back will be done. Although we wouldn't be able to deal with the issue in relation to solving whatever they have lost, but some measures will be put in place to ensure that we put some form of smiles back on their face. It is not really easy, and we sympathize with all of them.
So a week or 2, you say?
Exactly.
A week or 2. I'll give you the final word, but I'll have them say their final words, and then I'll give you the final word. Or say, so Martha, for you, and I'm sure you understood what he has said. He's indicated that they don't have you on their, he's not sure if they have you on their list. So you have not received anything at all?
Not at all.
Nothing. Did the government pay for your hospital bill?
Yeah.
You were part of those whose bills were taken care of, but you haven't had any compensation.
Not at all.
Okay, how much is due you? Do you know how much they're supposed to give you?
No.
You don't know. Okay, Ms. Ankra, can you help us? How much is due someone like Martha? Hello, Ms. Ankra?
Yeah, I'm here.
How much is due someone like Martha?
Currently, I may not be able to tell you exactly how much will be given, but what is happening is that we are looking at dealing with them to ensure that at least they have something to
yes, but roughly,
their lives.
What has been the figure so far for those that you've paid compensation to?
Initially, a figure around 10,000 was given out to them as compensation.
Okay.
So we're working around it to look at how to deal with the issue.
Okay, okay. So please hold on for me for your final word. Martha, do you have any final words? What do you tell? This is the AMA's representative. He speaks for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, which is the organization that is working to pay your compensation. What will you tell them? What are the sort of hardships that you're facing, for which reason you think they should speed up their efforts to give you the money?
Due to what happened as at now.
Speak up a bit.
Due to what happened as at now, one of my eye, I have a problem with it.
With your eye? You have a problem with your eye?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm pleading on their behalf. They should make speedily.
They should make the money available early.
And if there is any additional thing they can do about it.
Okay, about your eye, for example. Okay, okay. So that is Martha's final word. Solomon, who will be Biabeka Chatso? Say only AMA for an Kasanti. Then I'll be catch room.
So there was a kind of after now, when you saw them young, minimum there, as at now, a miracle minimum said I could do. And so I can be said, yeah, I'm saying, and when you are me fanye me ho do say asat na ofre bia me kuma se na Africa ba meeting bia up and down.
Okay. Okay, so these are their final words, Ms. Ankra. Solomon here is saying that he's having difficulty urinating. He has pains in his penis. We have also been told that he has not had an erection for 3 years. I don't have a way of verifying that, but I don't dispute. I don't dispute that he's telling the truth. But he's saying that he's had to come to Accra from Kumasi all the time for your meeting. So if you're doing something about it, they're pleading that you make it fast. Martha here says there's a problem with her eye. She's waiting on the compensation because she hasn't received anything at all. But she's also hoping that there could be some sort of help for her eye. Your final word, Ms. Ankara.
What we want to let them understand is to keep calm and to assure them that we'll do all what we can to deal with them. Don't forget there are some who still need medical attention, and it's part of the processes we are looking at to deal with all of them. And I can assure you that the Assembly will definitely take care of them. We should keep calm and then believe in whatever the message the mayor gave them the last time, and we would definitely deal with them.
Very, very well. In the meantime, 2 weeks, you said between 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that in the next 2 weeks, if they come to the Assembly, there will be some good news for them.
Very well.
Ms. Ankra, Gilbert Ankra speaks for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Ms. Ankra, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I've been doing this with Solomon Srebo. Solomon here is a victim of the June 3 disaster, and Martha Hassan. Martha, there seems to be some good news for you. So in 2 weeks, maybe you should check with the AMA, see if the money is ready. I wish you guys all the best. Martha Hassan there and Solomon Srebo.